Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Today is going to be like a little doom metal primer songwriting course. Kind of like beginner level, nothing too advanced. So we're going to eventually get into the riffs, but we're going to go through the kind of the thought process that you need to kind of go through, I feel like, if you're just breaking into songwriting. And the first thing you want to think about is, what style of doom are you trying to do? And this could go for any other genre as well. Death metal, black metal, grunge, punk, pop, it doesn't matter. This is kind of the things that could work for any genre. But specifically doom related, you need to think about what type of doom. Do you want to do like traditional Candlemass, Solitude Aeternus, Trouble style doom? Or more even vintage Black Sabbath style doom? Do you want to do more modern, which is kind of weird to say modern, but Sleep, On Up to Yob, High on Fire, Windhand? Do you want to do funeral doom? You know, it's endless. You got to kind of figure that out first. Once you've figured that out, it can kind of help you along your journey into other parts of the process, which is once you kind of formulate what style you're going for, then you can kind of focus on the gear you need, because you might buy a 6505 amp, but you're looking for something more of a fuzzed out stonery doom, where you may want something like an Orange, a Mad Amp, a Laney, what have you. So you kind of need to know that first section. But then once you know, if you're looking for a traditional doom sound, maybe a Marshall, maybe that 6505, you're going to need some treble booster, overdrive pedal, tighten it up, get you some mids, whatever. But if you're looking for more stonery doom, you're going to want something with a lot of headroom, a lot of low end, can take fuzz pedals really well. In this video, we're going to be doing that with a Laney, AOR, and a Frost Giant. Let me just show you. A Frost Giant Black Russian Big Muff type clone. It's really just a killer pedal, and perfect for the sound that we're going for on this. And a Phase 90 from MXR, because Phase 90s are very kind of integral to the genre, I feel like. C standard tuning. Now let's get on to probably one of the first things you need to learn if you're going to be doing this. And that is your scale choice. The minor scale can work well. Phrygian mode can work well. But your bread and butter really is going to be the blues scale. Quickly, if you don't know the blues scale, this is what we're going to be basing the riffs in the song off of. On your 6th string, that's open 3. On your 5th string, 0, 1, 2. On your 4th string, open 2. So if you could do it down here at the 12th fret, you could just move that scale all the way down. But that's the note choices. Very typical in this genre. There's some moves we're going to do in this track that are just very, very typical. If you're trying to do doom and you just don't know how to do doom, these note combinations will instantly put you there. And then you can get more creative after that, branch out from these things, but these will do it. So now that we have the note choices, what is the first riff in the track we're going to check out? The first riff is this. Now for that riff, I was kind of thinking Black Sabbath, but it came out more like Sleep, which is kind of Black Sabbath, right? So I guess I achieved it. Now, if you're enjoying this video, if you do, please click the link below and help support this by going to my Bandcamp link and downloading this track if you enjoy this. Back to what we're doing. So now that we have our riff, our first riff, this is like the riff I came up with first. It was the foundational riff. Well, now that you have your guitar tone, kick on the muff. Brings it to the drum sound. I could have used a super metallic, more traditional metal sound, but I used something that was more stoner doom revive, for lack of a better word. And that's the thing, if your band is a real band and you got a drummer, the same thing applies. You want to make sure your drum tones, your bass tones, all your tones are working cohesively as a unit. It doesn't need to be like, okay, I'm using a bass tone that's like a jazz fusion bass tone. My drummer is using a thrash metal tone, but I'm using a fuzzed out doom. It's going to sound weird. So you need to figure out how to make your band sound cohesive as a whole. Now that you know what style you're going for, what gear you're using, you got some riff ideas, figure the rest of that out. Now we're going to go deeper into the song. because we decided not to go traditional. We went to more like a slave to the riff type thing. Everything is going to be based around that basic riff. So that was the first riff. So I was like, okay, that's going to be an intro and a bridge, obviously. So I need a verse. So what can we do as a verse for this? I decided to go for that more drawn out. Kind of the droning note with the... very typical for the genre. But then you do the... also very typical and a good jumping off point for somebody that's trying to learn. That will always instantly get you there. So then I needed a chorus riff. I could just keep slaving the riff, but I wanted to do actual different riffs. So I needed something a little bit more busy, not a lot more busy, because I wanted to keep the kind of vibe, and came up with... And honestly, that's pretty much almost all the riffs. Is that all the riffs? Yeah. In the bridge, we took the intro riff. That thing, but we did it as chords. And once I did that, I was like, oh, fuck, that's a sleep riff. But I wrote it, so I'm going to stick with it. Put it together as a song. Let's go ahead and check that out now. Okay, so when I was arranging the song, I did the intro, went into the verse, to the chorus, and then I was going to go back into the verse again, but make it a longer verse. Didn't really dig that, so I put a solo over the first time around of that verse to kind of break up the monotony. I used the phase 90 on the solo with a delay. Went to the verse, went to the chorus, went to the bridge, which is the chorus part, and then I went on top of that with the phase 90 again and did an octave. Just to kind of give it a little bit more texture. And that's the kind of thing when you're writing your songs to think about, is how can you add texture? How can you add color? And if you're not trying to go whittly diddly diddly the whole time, these kind of things are a good way to do it. You add a little bit of spice to your riff, a little bit of color to the melodies, and it helps make the melody stand out more while also not being too jarring, because you're sticking very close, if not exact, to the original melody. And then after that, it was just a simple little ringing on an E chord to lead us back into the final chorus. And that's how I decided to structure the song, but that's not the only way we could have structured it. We could have structured it really slamming on that verse a long time and doing the chorus, one repetition. Back to it, slamming a long time, going to the bridge, making the bridge go for a super long time. So many different ways you could do it. Bringing it back to the intro so you could bring it back down to give it another sense of color, a little light and shade. But that's the kind of thing you got to think about when you're writing your songs, is what kind of dynamics do you want to put into the song? What kind of flow, what kind of light and dark, what kind of shade, what kind of color? Once you got all that figured out, play it, listen to it, record it on whatever recorder you have, and you and your band, or if you're a solo artist, you by yourself, sit there and listen to it and really, with open ears, dissect what you're hearing. Think about it like, does this sound good? Does it flow? Is it boring? Is it going nowhere? Is it going too far? And don't be afraid to throw away parts or change parts once you've gotten that far into it, because you can always make it a little better if you choose to. Now, another thing we did in this recording is something to think about too, is yes, we did use the AOR. But I also blended a HX stomp on the rock reverb channel with a rat. So you had the AOR with the muff, the rock reverb amp sim with a rat, blended those two together left and right. So it was 4 rhythm tracks to kind of get that thick, heavy tone. And that's one thing to consider too when you're doing your recording, is how do you want your tones to be? Do you want to have one left, one right? Do you want to have multiples where you can have different colors put together to make a more richer tone? It's really just down to what you want to do. So anyway, if this video does well and you guys seem to enjoy this, I will probably do the same thing with other doom styles, like the Candlemass type of thing, the Trouble, some death metal, do a full black metal song, do a full death metal song, do some punk, whatever. If you guys enjoy this, I will do that. As well as I do have a mixing thing I'm going to work on to show you how I mix these type of things in the future. So like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Don't normally say that, so if you could, maybe that'd be cool. See you guys in the next one.